Hi, everyone. It's Saturday, March 7th, and by now everyone has seen the headlines about February jobs falling well below expectations. But the biggest economic news yesterday wasn't in that headline or even in that government report. For background, the February non farm payrolls fell by 92,000 jobs, and this is versus an expectation that there would be 55,000 jobs added. This comes after what looked like a very strong January with 130,000 jobs added, but the devil's in the detail of the revisions. February's report included a downward revision for both December and January, and the December figure was huge. Initially reported at 50,000 jobs added, December was revised down last month to 48,000 jobs, and this month to a negative 17,000 jobs. On top of that, January was revised down by 4,000 jobs. So that's a total downward revision versus the initial reporting of north of 70,000 jobs. The reason for revisions is that the Bureau is waiting for responses from its surveys, and those surveys come in over time. So there's survey responses, and then their methods for projecting based on those prior to getting all of those surveys in are not fully capturing the downward trends in jobs. And we know that the downward trends are continuing because the first sign that there might be an upward trend would be upward revisions. So until upward revisions start happening, we know that the methods that the BLS is using to project are underestimating the downward trend. But the biggest economic news reported on Friday came from the Commerce Department, and that was the negative retail sales. January retail sales came in at down 0.2%, which was worse than the 0% expected and was the worst monthly decline since May. And this is adjusted for seasonality, but not for inflation. So if you take the CPI month over month inflation of 0.2%, this tells us that the actual consumption is down nearly 0.5%. And my 2 cents is that we should think about the labor market and consumption holistically when assessing what's going on with the economy. And while problems in the labor market are ultimately symptoms that are showing up over time, the drop in consumption that results from that is the ultimate illness that shows up in our economic results. So these retail sales figures are somewhat of a diagnosis because 2/3 of GDP consists of consumption. And it seems inevitable now that our GDP will start to show some of this illness. If you like my content, please like, share, and follow, especially on other platforms, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.